What's up? Darren with We TJ and Critters. All right, let's get in this TJ. Hey, I think you see my new wheels. Nice. It's coming together. Actually, the front axle has been underneath of it, and now it's back out for remain seal. Okay, I'm gonna get in. I'm actually gonna answer some questions because I was reading some different posts or whatever, things that people think they have to do or whatever. One thing I was really surprised how many people wanted to know if you had to remove the exhaust. Yes, you absolutely have to remove the exhaust. And by the way, good luck. Not sure if that's metric or standard. Jeep was not sure what they were doing. Let's get underneath here. So I've done a couple of these, and I was just going to show you what I've done. I packed this with paper towels. Shoot, I don't know where I put my grinder. Hold on. I'm back. Okay. All right, so I pack it, but before I do that, I do something really important. You need to, before you pull your pan, and this is just like mechanics 101 or whatever, get your stupid parts clean. So I will hose that. Now, when I pulled this in here to do the axles, I forgot that I had changed the oil pan. The reason why, I dragged my oil pan over too many rocks. Yeah, I messed up a little bit. Didn't do any damage. I did do damage. I just messed the oil pan up. So I was like, you know what? We welded. Ew. I just got looking at something I need to do. But so concerning the oil pan, I was like, hey, the axle's out. Perfect time to do the oil pan. And hey, might as well do the rear main seal. So this is the 99 TJ. And a couple things I wanted to show you. One is, you got to get this clean. Hey, you know that, but a couple different options. These are for people that don't know. After you really clean that, whether it's before the oil pan's off, really hosing it down with brake clean, because you might as well get as much dirt and debris, anything like that, off from that edge before you break your pan down. Power washer would be even better. I wish I would have done that. We typically would have done that. I just this is a little bit different. Brought the Jeep in here to mess with the front diff because it was messing up, and it never left the garage. So either way, we're at this point. Okay, let's get back to this. So a couple things. You can use Scotch-Brite's kind of the go-to thing after you scrape it. I don't know where my razor is. Just a flat scraper. Either way, you scrape that. Well, you can go up there with Scotch-Brite. I will say I don't use that. I use this. I really like I have it turned way down. I take a piece of cardboard and I shove it up there. That's one of the reasons why everything is packed with paper towel really well. I shove it up there and I clean that mating surface right there to the pan. Of course, you don't need to do that because that's aluminum. You just get in there with a piece of Scotch-Brite and clean that up. Now, when I'm done, of course this girdle right here is coming off for me to get to that rear main seal, but when I take this off here, I'm going to hose everything down really well with parts cleaner or brake clean, what have you. So I'm going to get into there. I just wanted to show you that yes, the starter has to come out. Super simple. You just got that little plug in there, right there. Unhook your battery, unhook this positive to your solenoid, and the starter's out. Boom, you only got 2 bolts. Take your exhaust out. Of course, this is a lot easier since I don't have the axle under here. But my oil pan sat back there for like 6 months because I knew at one point the front axle was going to come out. So, and I'll be honest, front axles come out pretty easy out of a TJ. So you just got to brace up the frame and get at it. So I'm gonna take this girdle off at this point. Now that I have this all clean, I'm gonna take this off, break those nuts off, and take my rear main off and start to put that rear seal on. I guess you can follow along as I pop that in. All right, before I forget, one thing I want to talk about, these bolts. See the oil pan bolts, right side of the engine, left side of the engine. You got some studs right there. You got some of those transmission line holders. You know what? It's starting to get a little darker under here. Yeah, you do have some larger bolts there, and the second one back on both sides, there and there. But I understand using cardboard for making a reference for your bolts or whatever, however you lay your bolts out. I don't do that unless when I'm pulling the bolts out that I notice that they're different lengths. I just use a phone. I take really good reference because oil pan bolts are always the same length for the most part. But take a really good video before you start pulling stuff apart. Just slowly go around there, video all around, slow, and talk when you're making that video. If you notice anything, hey, this clamp, I counted back, bolt, third one back's a stud, sorry about that, bolt, number 8, number 9 are studs. But here's the thing I've noticed with videos. When you make a video, and I'm not talking about this video, I'm talking about the video that I'm making on the phone, that wiring is, the videos save so much time. Serpentine belts, I always take a little video, throw my phone down there, I kind of trace it around with my finger, and I always am, it's just religious about grabbing the phone and just doing a once over, showing where wires are routed and all that. It's just quick, and you wouldn't believe the amount of times I've used the phone to make a short video, to come to find out, go back to look in that video to find something that wasn't even associated what I was making the video for. It's a good idea. Video it. Thing I noticed, 13/16 is your main cap bolts. I started to take them off. I left them snug because I looked at the lobe of the crank right there, the counterweight I should say, and I actually want to get that spun up a little bit more. That way I have some access. Because I'd rather have this rod stuck down and more of that main cap exposed.
Yeah.
Where's my midget ratchet?
On that one. Yeah. Narrower. Be easier to hit that.
Oh, there we go. I think it's, hey, that actually worked pretty good. Just look at it.
Yeah, it popped it right loose.
And it slid right down.
Sorry.
Unbelievable.
What?
Well, look at the crank and look at the bearing. It's almost 200,000 miles.
Let me see it. Let me see it again. There's no wear on that. I mean, there's a little bit of ring right there in the bottom, but it's really good looking.
These engines are pretty fantastic. So what I did, I have an 1/8 of an inch punch. I put electrical tape around it, and of course I'm going in there. You can see it's coming out. So at that point,
so you pretty much just grabbed the larger set, is what you did.
yeah, well, this got teeth on it. Okay. So I'm looking at this. See, let's look the seal over. The groove.
Yeah, it's on the
right
outside.
there was facing
That's
the
on
engine.
the inside, yeah.
And well, you can tell.
The outer lip is on the outside. That little standing lip is towards the transmission.
Okay. All right, so they actually give you this little tab in there to put in there to actually protect the seal as it's going in. went ahead and oiled both the edge of the seal that's going towards the crank and the block. Oh, it's starting to get a little bit stiffer there. Alright, so I ended up pushing it around. That's still in there, but I used the square end of a screwdriver. I had a small one right here, so nothing is, of course, that's plastic. So that way I'm not harming anything. I got equal amounts right there and there. It went in perfect. Everyone's happy. The crowd is cheering. I gotta reposition this light. And let's see if this thing pulls out the way we're going to hope it will. Hold on here. Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that off. I've already shot some brake clean in it. I gotta clean my main cap, get that all clean, add a little bit of oil there, put my seal on the rear main cap, and clean that once more before silicone it, or RTV it. Alright, so this anaerobic or whatever gasket maker, this is a very thin RTV essentially. So one areas that always has issues with sealing, and they didn't say to do this, but I'm going to put a little dab right there, and just a really fine amount across that.
So what did you just do?
Okay, so you saw me put a little bit on the bottom side. I put a little bit on the top right here. I'm going to put a little bit more here on the right here. And right there, because I'll be honest, that's going to be a leak point right there. And let's do it. Squeeze out there.
Mm-hmm. Want the 3/8 with the adapter.
Okay, so last thing I want to discuss right here, these seals. If you have a 99 older, you're going to have these ears. If you have a 2000 and later, you're not going to have those ears. It's just going to be the two halves. So this is what I do. I'd pick up, if you're in that 99 2000, I'd pick up both seals. So that way you have both and return the one that you don't use. With that being said, because I've heard of a lot of people, when they actually open it up, they have the wrong seal. Everything is done the same. Everything is done the same, whether you have these ears or not, except, I mean, you're going to use this anaerobic sealant to make a gasket down through there. And you saw, I used this stuff here to there, even with me having the seal. So if you have the 2000 later, you're going to use this to actually make your gasket. This is up to 50 thousandths, so that is just under a 1/16 of an inch is the maximum that this will work for a gasket. Some people you try to use just standard RTV. I believe the properties in this, the fibers, it's a thicker compound that is not going to compress the way this is. However, the same thinking, when you come down here, when you put a little bit of RTV here, and there, and there, and there, and that's what I would do. I would not use this. You need to use this because this makes for a little bit thicker gasket. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's actually a pretty easy job. I think probably most likely the biggest fails I could see people doing on this is using too much RTV or whatever this anaerobic, and not getting your engine block prepped prior to pulling that pan, and you possibly putting debris into the engine. So all right, see you later.